Costa Mesa Television, Channel 62, and Continental Cablevision, Channel 3, are proud to present Boys Pacific Coast League basketball action. It's Estancia against Costa Mesa. Well, hello everybody. Along with my partner Bob Gibson, I'm Dane Bora. The two teams come in to tonight's game on opposite ends of the Pacific Coast League standings. Estancia sits atop at 5-1, and Mesa comes in on the bottom end at 0-6. But Bob, you know anything can happen when these two teams meet.
Yeah, when these two teams get together, it seems to be a very close game, even though when you look at it on paper, it really looks lopsided. Estancia always at or near the top of the Pacific Coast League, and unfortunately for the Mustangs, they're always near the bottom. But as you mentioned, when these two teams get together, you might remember a year ago, they took a Dane Plock three-pointer at the buzzer over at Estancia to claim a victory for the Eagles. The game earlier this year, just a three-point win for Estancia. A lot of people thought that was going to be a blowout. Nope, the Mustangs kept it real close. So we're expecting probably another close one here. You know, these are crosstown rivals, and when that stuff happens, you can kind of just throw everything else out the window because, you know, both these teams just really want to meet each other. And
an amazing stat to throw out at you. After you say that, the crosstown rivals and how close it's been, Estancia has taken the last 29 of these matchups, and it's the last time Costa Mesa notched a victory was 1982. But as we said, it's been close the last few times, so anything can happen. What's Mesa got to do tonight to get over the top?
Mesa's got to hit the outside shot. They live and die by the three-pointer. Matt Chasen is their big gun, their point guard. They're really going to have to do that to compete here. And I think they're also defensively going to have to stop the inside game of Estancia. Estancia likes to run a lot of stuff down on the baseline, a lot of backdoor plays. If they can use their big guys, Leahy and Hilton, down low to help stop that, I think they can stay in this game. For Estancia, I think once again, they're going to have to use their size. They have a lot more size to their advantage. They're going to have to try to muscle it up underneath against Mesa and make their shots down low. They can also hit the outside shot too, so Mesa can't really afford to sag down too much down on the baseline. They're going to have to watch out for Selwyn Mansell and, of course, Sam Nelson, who had a 40-point game earlier this season, hitting those three-pointers from outside.
Well, on paper, it should be an easy Estancia victory. We'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, that's why they play them on the hardwood. We'll get the starting lineups, and we'll have the tip-off when we come back after this short break. Stay with us.
Tommy wants to design bridges when he grows up. Maybe he'll design one that you'll use. Now, would you like this free booklet of simple ways you can help improve his education? Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
And welcome back. Starting lineups now being announced. First out for Estancia is Brandon Casillas. And we just finished a nice rendition of the national anthem with a member of the Gibson family out there.
Yeah, my sister Robin, she's in Costa Mesa High School Choir, and they did a nice job singing the anthem there before this ball game.
And there's Ryan Simpson, the junior from Estancia.
Leahy joined by his teammate Todd Hilton, first two out for Costa Mesa.
So Hilton starting tonight, hasn't started all year long, but I think he's kind of grown into the basketball sport after being in the pool for quite a while with water polo.
Yeah, definitely water polo standout, and I think they're going to need his size. I think this is a good move by head coach Eric Allen. They're going to need that size up front to tackle the 6'3", 6'4", and 6'3" front line that Estancia puts out there.
And speaking of standouts, Sam Nelson was just announced for Estancia. He is one of, if not the standout in this ball game, and John Payne was his counterpart from the Mustangs, and James Dawkins has been announced, and another new starter for Mesa, recent new starter, Carlos Galdamez, who started the year on the bench while sophomore Rovin Sue was starting early, and now Rovin Sue's playing with the sophomore team, so Galdamez starts.
We mentioned Nelson in the open. He matched his uniform number earlier this year, number 40, putting 40 points on the board against University just a couple of games ago in the Pacific Coast League play. So Sam Nelson, if he gets hot from the outside, it's going to be a long night for the Mustangs.
Yeah, Sam Nelson, that is a name we will be saying a lot. And we did the girls' game last night, and Dave Martin, who called color, he made a comment. We were talking about Jill Black, and he said, if I had a nickel for every time we've mentioned Jill Black's name, I'd be a rich man. And that's the kind of performance I expect to see out of Sam Nelson this evening. So we're just about ready to start. Both teams, there's a good look inside the Mustang huddle. First-year coach Eric Allen takes over the helm of the Mustangs after the passing of Jason Ferguson, a well-publicized situation here at Costa Mesa.
You'll notice some of the players wear the patch on their front of their uniforms, JF, in remembrance of Jason Ferguson, and I don't think he'll ever be forgotten at this school.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be. And I know Brian Leahy played for Jason for a couple years, and he wears the patch, and John Payne, who was on last year's team, also wears the patch. So jumping center is Sam Nelson and Brian Leahy. It's Mustangs and Eagles, and we're underway. That ball saved there by Selwyn Mansell. He'll bring it up into the front court for Estancia. Eagles control the tap. Mansell being patient. He finds Casillas on the wing. Casillas, one of the bigger players on the court, but he plays more of an outside game. Mansell goes to Ryan Simpson. Simpson over to James Dawkins, who's getting a rare Pacific Coast League start. Simpson along the baseline, and it's knocked away by John Payne. It's going to go out of bounds to Estancia.
Estancia very patient getting into their offense. They don't like to do anything in a hurry. They'll just pass the ball back and forth, and they're looking for the cutter down below, and that's usually what their bread and butter is here, looking for that easy basket down on the baseline.
And there's the first shot of the game. It's too much on it, but Ryan Simpson is there for the board. He can't put it back. Gets his second rebound, puts it up, battle for it. Simpson's got it again, and there's a foul. Foul going to be called on the floor against Carlos Galdamez. So Galdamez picks up the first foul of the ball game, and a nice job there, Bob. Ryan Simpson going to the glass.
This is what hurt Costa Mesa against Laguna Beach just in their last Pacific Coast League game. Hitting the boards. They got out-rebounded badly by Laguna Beach. They can't afford to do that here against Estancia tonight.
Yeah, they've got to play a near-perfect game against Estancia. Nelson into Casillas. Casillas working at the block, and he puts in the short turnaround, and it's a 2-0 ball game. Estancia on the scoreboard first. Estancia in a man-to-man full-court press. Galdamez beats Dawkins, and Dawkins is going to get called for a reach foul right out here in front of us.
James Dawkins possibly could be the best athlete on the floor, on the basketball floor here tonight. Definitely, we've seen his exploits on the football field. And just watch James Dawkins tonight. You're going to see him jump out of this building. He can leap. I bet higher than anybody on the court here tonight.
Yeah, you pointed that out to me in warm-ups, and I was actually surprised at how high James can get up. And keep an eye on Matt Chasen for Mesa. He's got the ball now. Matt can get off the floor pretty good too. There's Chasen. He's the Mustangs' leading scorer. Almost throws it away. Hilton comes up with it, gives it to Galdamez. Galdamez to Hilton at the block. Hilton, and there's Galdamez coming to the glass nicely with the tip in.
Nice tip in. That's what Costa Mesa is going to have to do. Follow their misses, get some rebounds, especially on the offensive end.
And there's a nice look inside to Sam Nelson. Nelson's shot is blocked, and Galdamez comes down with it, and Galdamez is going to push it up. No numbers. He'll slow things down. Mustangs will set up. Eagles in the man-to-man defense. Dawkins guarding Galdamez. Selwyn Mansell will hound Matt Chasen all over the court this evening. Payne goes into Hilton, and it's taken away by Estancia. Casillas in transition. He handles the ball well for a big man, and before I can finish my statement, he travels with the ball.
He started at point guard. I know at least one game earlier this year I saw Estancia take on Newport Harbor. They started Casillas at the point guard, and he's 6'4", and he's all of 6'4". He's a legitimate 6'4" player out there, but as you mentioned, he handles the ball as good as anybody out there.
Yeah, I think he's a guard at heart. And there's a 10-second violation. The Mustangs can't beat the Estancia press, and the Estancia team coming out fired up on defense.
I think Estancia wants to prove that three-point win was a little bit of a fluke. Costa Mesa getting that close to him last game. I think they want to come out and make a statement here.
And Estancia also coming off their first league loss, so they've also got something to prove as far as that goes too. They want to bounce back as we start the second round here of Pacific Coast League play. And they're at 5-1, and there's 3 teams, Aliso, Niguel, University, and Laguna Hills, all just a game back at 4-2. So this is a big game for Estancia in league standings as well. Nelson will shoot the 3. That doesn't rattle home, and Hilton is there. Todd Hilton active here early in this first quarter. We're still tied at 2. Chasen going to work against Mansell. Chasen likes to create a lot off the dribble. And Mansell shuts him off. John Payne. Estancia in a real tough man-to-man defense here, and that's a staple of any Rich Boys team. Shot up by Chasen, that's short, and Mansell tracks it down. Mansell's gonna push it up himself, and he's tripped to the floor by Matt Chasen.
Just a reaching foul there by Chasen. And that's a matchup we're really gonna look forward to seeing here. Selwyn Mansell against Matt Chasen. 2 really good guards on both the offensive and defensive ends. This is gonna be a real good matchup to keep an eye on tonight.
Yeah, Chasen comes in averaging almost 15 a game, and I was talking to Coach Rich Boyce, and he thinks that Selwyn will do a fine job and probably shut him down below his average this evening. We'll wait and see. Casillas over to Mansell. Mansell puts Galdamez up in the air. And Casillas with the 15-footer. That's no good. 2 Mustangs there, and Leahy comes down with it, gives it off to Galdamez. So we're halfway through the first quarter, and it's only 2-2. The defensive struggle.
Looks like both teams might be just a little bit tight in the early going.
And with the crosstown game, that's something that is to be expected here.
Absolutely.
Costa Mesa doing a great job defensively to hold this Estancia team to 2 points in the first 4 minutes. Payne goes into Leahy. Leahy's got position, almost too good a position. He's underneath the basket. So Chasen will reset things for the Mustangs. Mustangs being patient. Payne back to Chasen. Chasen, no room to operate. This is good though. The Mustangs have to be patient. Payne puts up a shot, and Casillas is there to rebound. Casillas will push it up into the front court and blow right by Brian Leahy. Dawkins into Sam Nelson, and a little too much on that pass there, Bob.
As I mentioned, Estancia likes to be patient in their offense. They came down that time. They didn't really set it up. Dawkins ends up committing the turnover there, and James is going to go sit down right now, and into the ball game. Evan Taboda for Estancia.
Yeah, and Evan comes in first player off the bench, but he started, I think, if not all but one of the Eagles Pacific Coast League matchups. John Payne misses the shot there, and it's rebounded by Selwyn Mansell. Mansell right around Chasen for the short shot, too short. Rebound fought for, Mansell comes up with it and then is called for the traveling. So Mansell doing a nice job of penetrating the key and getting himself in good position for the shot. He just didn't knock it down.
That'll pay off later on in this ball game.
I can't believe we're 5 minutes into this, Bob, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable. Both these teams very capable of scoring a lot of points.
And the Eagles getting a turnover with the press, and Mansell's gonna go in and get fouled. Foul will be called on Brian Leahy. And on the turnover, a great job by the Eagles defense of trapping Galdamez here in the corner. And that's a coach's nightmare when you see one of your players pick up his dribble in one of the corners here. Checking into the game right now for Mesa is number 11, Twan Doe. He comes in for John Payne. Twan, a senior, three-point specialist for the Mustangs, as Selwyn Mansell goes to the line to shoot the first of his 2. And Selwyn gets us off the 2-2 tie here. I was a little worried we were going to go in at the end of the first quarter at 2-2. Misses the second one, and there for the rebound is Leahy. Chasen slowly in to the front court to Galdamez. Estancia still in the man-to-man defense. Chasen matched up against Selwyn Mansell. Galdamez goes back to Chasen. Chasen looking to create off the dribble, goes into Leahy. Leahy's turnaround jumper, and that's good. Brian Leahy with the nice turnaround jumper, and the Eagles come right back. Sam Nelson gets Galdamez in the air and then throws the ball away. And a double dribbles on Twan Doe, and Sam Nelson throwing the ball away. That's not something I expect to see.
No, you won't see that much. Estancia very disciplined when it comes to their passing. Sam's going to go sit down. He's going to take a rest, and James Dawkins checks back in. I think Coach Boyce just wanted to talk to James a little bit, maybe have him just calm it down just a little bit out there. Estancia looks just a little wound up early on in this game.
Casillas with the shot from the baseline. That's a three-pointer. Brandon Casillas, he's got 5 of the Eagles' 6, and it's 6-4. Estancia in the full court man-to-man press. Mustangs break the press. Leahy on the baseline, thought about shooting a 3, but thinks better of it and goes to Chasen. Chasen, spin move, and a great pass into Hilton. Hilton uses his body well, lays it up and in. And we're tied up at 6.
When you're 6'6", you can do a lot of things with your body underneath.
And there's Brandon Casillas with his second three-pointer in a row. And Casillas feeling good about things. So it was slow getting going, and now we've had 8 points in the last 3 trips down the court.
Just had to shake the cobwebs out early.
Chasen over to Galdamez. Galdamez dribble along the baseline, and he's swatted there by Casillas, and they're going to call a foul against Brandon Casillas. That's his first.
Go ahead, Ed.
A nice move along the baseline there by Galdamez, taking it to the basket.
One thing I've noticed early, Estancia, looks like their game plan is to shut down Matt Chasen. Don't let him get his points. Don't let him beat you. Make someone else on the Costa Mesa team beat you. And they've done a good job of shutting him down so far.
And you can't argue with that game plan. Chasen, definitely the scoring leader of this team. And even when he's not scoring, he's the one that gets things going for Mesa. And as I said, I was talking with Coach Boyce, and he was really confident in the defense that he would get out of Selwyn Mansell. Selwyn Mansell, the complete package, a fine point guard offensively, but a defensive stopper as well on the other end.
Well, he learned his basketball over at Modern Day for 3 years, so you know he's gonna know the game of basketball real well. And he comes over to Estancia. He's been a nice fit for the Eagles so far this year.
Yeah, Coach Boyce was real happy when Selwyn came knocking on his door at the beginning of the school year, especially with the departure of Dane Plock. The Eagles were left without a true point guard.
Absolutely.
It's 9-7, Eagles on top. Mansell goes in to Casillas. Casillas has the hot hand. That shot's blocked, and there's James Dawkins with the tip, but it won't go. And right there, Bob, that's James getting up in the air inside with the big boys. Had the tip, and it almost went in. Chasen over to Doe. Twan into Dickerson, and there's going to be a holding foul on Gavin Rainey. Gavin Rainey, number 55, a junior, that checked in for Estancia, and he picks up his first foul.
Rainey's another one, 6'4". He comes in off the bench, and he's going to provide a spark in the middle as well. Estancia is just full of these players, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" up front. You take one of them out, you put another one in. They're all about as good as the rest of them.
So Casillas checks out for Estancia as Dickerson goes to work inside against Rainey. And Dawkins is there to pull it down, and he's going to push it with 15 seconds to go in the quarter. Dawkins will get it to the point guard, who'll go to work. 8 seconds left. Mansell trying to create something, and he travels before he can get the shot off. So Mansell called for the travel, and the Mustangs go to work with just 1 second left here in the first quarter. Dickerson will take it out of bounds. Wants to heave it down the court. Nelson's there, but doesn't get the shot off before the buzzer. 9-7 at the end of one. Bob?
Very interesting early on, the low-scoring game. We take a look at Costa Mesa earlier this year. They played a game against University. Final score 92-90. NBA games aren't being scored that high this season. We know Estancia can put points on the board, so very curious. The early score only 9-7.
I would imagine both teams will settle down, and we'll see more scoring here in the second. So with the score 9-7 at the end of one, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Don't you love that safe, free feeling you get in a pickup truck, Larry?
Yeah, nothing but you, me, the open road, a deer.
Yeah! The cow! Yeah! The ostrich! The village people! The village people?
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Especially in pickup trucks.
I didn't know the village people were doing a road tour.
And welcome back. Second quarter just about ready to get underway. 9-7's the score, and Brandon Casillas has 8 of the 9 for Estancia. Mesa with the ball to start the second. Chasen still working against Selwyn Mansell. Selwyn all over Chasen. Chasen's gonna get awful sick of Selwyn Mansell by the time this one's over. Leahy working against Nelson, and Tuan Doe's gonna get the shot off, no good. And Gavin Rainey is gonna get called, I believe, Bob, for going over the back of Scott Dickerson, and I don't know about that either.
I don't know either. That looked like a tough call to go against Gavin Rainey.
Coach Rich Boyce not too happy about it, and what I think happened is Dickerson snuck underneath him after Rainey already had possession of the ball.
Right, that would have been a better no call in my opinion.
And I like to see Coach Boyce over there on the sideline getting excited early. Shot up, no good by Chasen, and James Dawkins getting off the floor. And not a smart foul, a reach-in foul there, gonna go against Tuan Doe. A lot of reach-in fouls here early, Bob.
Yeah, you don't like to see that if you're a head coach. Guys reaching in, more oftentimes than not, that's gonna come up a foul rather than a steal.
So Mansell brings it into the front court. Dawkins going to work against Doe. He kicks it back to Mansell, and Selwyn will set things back up. Eagles need to get the ball to Nelson. Nelson not too involved in the offense here in the early going. Galdamez doing a good job against Nelson, and Nelson's gonna go in, give it back out to Taboda. Rainey to Dawkins. Dawkins, nice pump fake, shot up, and that one won't go. No shots falling here, and the Eagles get it back. Shot up short. Nelson underneath, that's blocked. Nelson again. Count the bucket. Sam Nelson going to the line, looking for a three-point play.
Well, persistence pays off in the end, and if you keep going to the boards and you keep getting those shots put back up, eventually something is bound to go in, and it eventually did for Estancia. Sam Nelson with his first basket of this ballgame.
I tell you, Estancia puts a shot up, and there are 5 red jerseys going to the glass. So checking into the game, back into the game is Brandon Casillas, as Nelson will look to finish off the traditional three-point play here. And he misses that, but the rebound comes out to Rainey, and Rainey's gonna get called for a travel. So Estancia really going to the glass offensively. Estancia back in their full court press. Chasen gonna try and break it himself, he does. And somehow Chasen dribbles through a lot of traffic over there.
He's quick.
Yeah, he handles the ball well. Galdamez with the shot off, no good, and there's James Dawkins again. Dawkins kicks it up into the front court. Estancia had some numbers, and Selwyn tried to go over the top of Galdamez, and I think if he would have used the bounce pass probably would have got into Nelson.
He'd probably like to have that pass back.
So there's a timeout on the court. Costa Mesa calling the timeout. It's 11-7. We're just 2 minutes into the second quarter. We'll go ahead and keep it right here during the timeout.
You know, Eric Allen, we talk about the first-year head coach for the Costa Mesa Mustangs. He comes in and takes over the program this year. He comes from a pretty good background himself. 1989 graduate of Trabuco Hills High School, which is traditionally in the past years since its inception had a very good basketball program under head coach Rainer Wolf out there. Former Pacific Coast League team, since moved on to greener pastures in Division I play. But you know, Eric Allen, if he learned his basketball under Rainer Wolf at Trabuco Hills, that's going to provide a solid foundation, I think, here at Costa Mesa. And I think that the things that Eric Allen has brought in so far is building that foundation to try to bring some respectability back to the Costa Mesa basketball squad.
Yeah, and talking about bringing respectability back in, there's a freshman class here at Costa Mesa that has everybody buzzing They're coached by Mo Rezkala, and I know everyone here at Mesa is really excited about the class of freshmen they have in as James Dawkins takes the inbounds pass, uncontested. Nice play, a nice set play out of the timeout there for Estancia. Coach Rich Boyce drawing that one up during the timeout. So the Mustangs having trouble with the press unless the ball's in the hands of Chasen, which it is now. Chasen, cross-court pass over to Brian Weir, who's checked into the ball game. Scott Dickerson kicks it out to Chasen, and Chasen has it knocked away by James Dawkins, and Brian Leahy's there to corral it. Leahy thinks about the three and gets called for the travel. So as Brian hesitated, he traveled.
Exactly, just hesitated a bit. Did he want to take the three? Did he not want to take the three? And by the time he decided what he wanted to do, he'd already picked up the pivot foot and moved it again.
So Dawkins will run the point for Estancia with Mansell taking a breather. Nelson working against Galdamez. Nelson's going to the hole. Too much on that one, and there for the rebound is Brian Weir. And Carlos Galdamez going to be called for the travel. Galdamez can't believe it, but Bob, that happened right here in front of us, and he did travel.
Yeah.
So Estancia with Brandon Casillas, Sam Nelson, Ryan Simpson, Evan Taboda, and James Dawkins on the court. Dawkins over to Casillas. Casillas with the nice fake. Dawkins is going to shoot the three. That looks good, and it is. James Dawkins nailing the three. That's 5 in a row for Dawkins. Mustangs a little ragged here, breaking the press. And they get the ball to Chasen. Chasen goes to the rack. And I believe there's going to be a foul against Estancia. Todd Hilton doing a nice job getting inside position there for the Mustangs.
Selwyn Mansell sitting down right now for Estancia, and he won't be there for long. He plays a lot of minutes for the Eagles, and he'll be back on the court real quick here. He's probably just getting a quick breather from Rich Boyce.
Yeah, he's a true point guard, and they need him on the court.
Yeah, definitely. He plays, as I said, a lot of minutes for this team. Rarely does he sit down.
Especially when he's matched up against a good point guard in Matt Chasen, so they'll need him on the court. There's a shot by Weir, and that's a three-pointer for Brian Weir, and it's now 16-10 in favor of Estancia.
It's the first points of the quarter for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and they no finer way to break in than with a three. They'd probably have liked to have got on the scoreboard a little sooner, but they'll take the three from Weir. Chasen goes back to Weir. Chasen, he'll try the three. That's just short, and there for the rebound is Casillas, and Casillas will push it, and he throws it away. Not a good decision there by Casillas as John Payne comes up with the steal and brings it into the front court. Payne gets it over to Hilton, and Leahy will slow it down, get it back to Chasen. But Chasen's quick.
He is very quick. He's got a lot of moves out here on the basketball court. He's matched up right now with James Dawkins. Another good matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of quickness on the court between those two, and Chasen will pump up another three. That's no good, and Casillas pulls down the rebound, but a nice job by Ryan Simpson of boxing Brian Leahy off the boards. Dawkins, dribble penetration, he throws it up and in. James Dawkins, nice looking move there by James.
Very nice move.
I believe that's 7 points in a row by James Dawkins. It's now 18-10. Chasen with the nice pass to Leahy. Leahy goes up against Nelson, and Leahy gets the kind roll, and Leahy's got 4 points. 3:15 left to go in the half. Eagles have led the whole way. Pass into Ryan Simpson. Simpson gets 2 players up in the air. Shot doesn't fall. Nelson's there against the glass, and a good call, a jump ball. I thought they were going to call Hilton for a foul.
Well, Nelson wanted it.
Yeah, but I think that's a good call. They had dual possession on the ball. Hilton was right on top of Nelson as he went up with the shot, and on the alternating possession, the ball will stay down here with Estancia. Nelson going to work and they'll set it back up. Selwyn Mansell checks back into the ball game. Casillas with the three-point try. That's no good. Rebound comes down to James Dawkins, and Dawkins gets called for a double dribbles. I got to tell you, Bob, a lot of traveling and a lot of double dribbles and unforced errors out here.
I think both teams still just a little bit tight.
And usually it only takes a quarter to get loosened up and comfortable. And there's a nice give and go by the Mustangs. John Payne can't finish, but Brian Leahy with the nice give back to John Payne, who was running the court. And speaking of running the court, here's Selwyn Mansell going coast to coast, and James Dawkins will get called for going over the back there. That's not a bad foul. Dawkins has been going to the glass and getting his hands on a lot, and right there, just a hustle foul.
Exactly. You don't mind those as much as a coach when you see your guys crashing the boards. They're going to pick up fouls from time to time, but as you mentioned, all those hustle plays, those will pay off in the end.
And we talked a little earlier about the reach-in fouls. Coaches don't like to see the reach-in fouls,
right,
but a foul like that right there against Dawkins, I know Coach Boyce isn't going to be angry or upset with him on that one. So Brian Weir goes to the line. Weir hit a three-pointer for his 3 points in the game. He's shooting the bonus. That one's going to be short. Rebound comes down to Nelson. Nelson gives it off to Mansell, and Selwyn will bring it into the front court for Estancia. Simpson back to Casillas. Casillas will operate on the perimeter as Taboda puts up a three, and Casillas goes to the boards, gets the rebound, and he'll put it back up, and he's fouled by Brian Leahy. And we talked about it earlier, Bob. We're positioned down here right in amongst the cheerleaders, and it gets a little tough to see things as it goes into the corner here.
I think probably the first thing Eric Allen's going to tell his troops at halftime, rebound. We've got to hit the boards. That's really killing Mesa right now. They need to really concentrate on crashing the boards, especially when you have Hilton and Leahy up front. Their two biggest players. They're going to really have to get the bulk of that rebounding chores done.
Casillas knocks down the first one, and the Mustang defense is doing a great job of stopping Estancia on their first shot, but as you said, Estancia's going to the offensive boards, and then that's when their scoring is on the second, third, and even sometimes fourth opportunity as Casillas knocks down both of his free throw attempts. He's got 10 now, and there's the Estancia press, forcing a turnover as Hilton throws it away, and I know Coach Allen can't be happy seeing Hilton handle the ball against the press.
Right, you got to get the ball into the hands of Matt Chasen. He's your point guard and your best ball handler. Ball's has got to get into his hands.
Taboda gives it off to Casillas. Casillas has got Leahy behind him, so Casillas will go to the hole, and Leahy's going to be called, I believe, for the foul. Let's see here. They might whistle Todd Hilton. Oh, I disagree with that, Bob. I thought Todd Hilton was set, and I thought he would have drawn what would have been a charge. I thought they were going to call the foul against Brian Leahy.
Toughest call in basketball, charge or foul. Right there it goes against Costa Mesa.
And Casillas will go back to the line. Brandon, a good free throw shooter. And on cue, he makes it for me. That's 3 of 3 for Brandon. Checking into the game, Gavin Rainey. He'll spell Ryan Simpson.
Yeah, both teams have done a very good job shutting down the opposing school's leading scorer. Right now, Sam Nelson only has 2 points. Matt Chasen so far through this ballgame is scoreless.
And that's what we talked about earlier as being some of the keys. So Casillas misses the second, and John Payne will try and break the press. He's working against Sam Nelson. Nelson, good defense. Brian Weir along the baseline, back to Payne. Payne gets it over to Chasen. Chasen gets a screen from Leahy. And Chasen with a nice pass into Leahy as Leahy rolls off the screen. That shot doesn't go, and Gavin Rainey is there to corral it for Estancia. And Selwyn Mansell just blows right by Matt Chasen, and where's the help defense?
Nothing at all down low, and as far as the help for Costa Mesa, they need someone down low to help pick that up when it gets broken down up top.
And that just opened wide open for Selwyn. Selwyn doing a good job of finishing as he took it to the hole. And Selwyn with the defense there, Selwyn's gonna pull up. He stops and pops with the short bank, so Selwyn Mansell with 2 quick buckets here for Estancia.
5 points in the game for Mansell so far.
Leahy will break the press. He kicks it ahead to Hilton, who does an excellent job of saving it back to Brian Leahy. And Leahy can't get the kind roll, but Todd Hilton showing his athleticism there. And a great dish right there. Selwyn Mansell to the cutter, Brandon Casillas. And here comes a long pass by Hilton.
Costa Mesa needs a timeout, and I think they might have, well, it's a turnover right there. The Mustangs need a timeout right now.
Yeah, and as you say it, Bob, I look over. Coach Eric Allen calling for one. Mustangs in disarray. Hilton trying to get it length of the court to Leahy. I look back as it goes out of bounds. Matt Chasen sitting on the ground. I don't know if he got knocked down or if he's just upset because being the point guard, he didn't get the ball. But you called it. The Mustangs needed a timeout. It got a little ragged there for him.
Yeah, the lead is now 27-12. And what was a very close game, as we were talking about earlier on, has now slowly started to creep away from Costa Mesa. They need to regroup here and get back into this ball game.
And it's been the play of the Eagle guards. James Dawkins had 8 points in a row. And from there, Selwyn Mansell has scored the last 4 points for Estancia. So Dawkins and Mansell have combined for unofficially 12 points this quarter. And Mesa only has 5 points as a team.
A three-pointer by Weir and a deuce by Leahy so far in this quarter.
You know, going back to that play, Bob, where Hilton saved it back to Leahy, I couldn't help but think of Hilton in the pool playing water polo. He reached his arm out and just kind of one-handed it back to him, and that was some of his water polo skills carrying on to the basketball floor. Casillas gets it out to Nelson. Boy, Sam Nelson, a quiet first half, but Estancia with a 15-point lead. And that's fine with Sam. He'd rather not score and have a 15-point lead. Very unselfish player. Taboda, there's 7 seconds left, so Sam will put up a shot to beat the buzzer, and the rebound comes down to Taboda, who gets it to Nelson. Count the bucket. Referee out front's gonna count the bucket. Sam Nelson scores at the buzzer. Bob, I see you shaking your head.
He did not get that shot off before the, I think Eric Allen has every right to be very angry right now on the Costa Mesa sideline. I was looking at it as I heard the buzzer. The referee, though, said right away he made a very boisterous gesture saying, yes, the basket does count. So the referee did not hesitate. He made the call, but the ball, I don't think, got out of his hands before the buzzer sounded.
Oh, I'll go out on a limb and say it didn't. I saw the same thing you did.
Yeah.
I did not think he got that shot off, and that makes it a 17-point ball game. So, not that they needed it, but Estancia catching a break. 29-12 at halftime. We'll go ahead and take a timeout, and we'll be back with the second half of action in just a moment.
In emergencies, the quick response of fire, police, or medical aid is crucial. But our country is facing an emergency of major proportions. Every year, Americans illegally or improperly dispose of used motor oil 20 times the disastrous Exxon Valdez oil spill. If we don't begin to recycle our used motor oil now, the result will be even more devastating to our water, our marine life, our food chain, and our lives. Is America finally going to see the light? Recycle your used motor oil. Keep it out of our environment.
At halftime, the Estancia Eagles on top of the Costa Mesa Mustangs, 29-12. Anything surprise you in the first half, Bob?
Yeah, I think the first thing that stands out at you is Costa Mesa High senior guard Matt Chasen. He has so far been held scoreless through the first half of this basketball game. I would not have thought that would happen for Costa Mesa to be successful, and I think one of the reasons why they're down this big at the half is the fact that Chasen is being held scoreless so far.
Yeah, and equally surprising, and we were talking about it before, right at the end of the first half, is Sam Nelson only has 4 points, and Estancia has a 17-point lead.
Nelson only has 4, but he's being picked up by 13 points by Brandon Casillas. He's high scorer in the ball game so far at the halftime. James Dawkins has 7, Selwyn Mansell with 5, and as we mentioned, Sam Nelson with 4. For the Mustangs, their leading scorer in the first half, Brian Leahy with 4. 3 points apiece for Galdamez and Weir, and 2 points in the game so far for Todd Hilton.
So you know the Mustangs can't be happy when we're talking about Sam Nelson being virtually shut out. He's got 4 points. Mustangs leading scorer Brian Leahy only has 4 points. And 12 points and a half is not going to get it done.
No. Estancia's got so many weapons over there, and you know, even when Sam Nelson has an off night or is being shut down on a good defensive stand by a team like Costa Mesa. You have a Brandon Casillas, you have a James Dawkins. These players can step forward for you. Costa Mesa hasn't gotten that performance so far in this basketball game from one or two individuals that need to step up and pick up the slack for Chasen, who, as we mentioned, has 0 points in the first half.
And give a lot of credit to the fact that Chasen has 0 points. Give a lot of that credit to the glove.
Absolutely.
Selwyn Mansell has just been phenomenal on the defensive end, and I hate to say it, but I hate to say it again, is Coach Boyce told me before the game, he said, you know, Selwyn will do a number on Chasen. And Selwyn's had a few games where he's been the leading scorer. His top output this year is 28 points. So Selwyn can score, and as we're seeing tonight, he can shut down the opposing player he's guarding. So what do the Mustangs have to do to get back into this, Bob?
They're going to have to get the ball into the hands of Chasen. I think he's going to be hungry here in the second half. He's going to have something to prove out here. I think that's the person they're going to have to go to here in the second half to get back into this thing.
Well, Chasen will start with it. He gets a screen from Hilton, but can't break free of the glove. Payne with it. Payne kicks it back to Chasen. Chasen's going to drive into the paint. Float, and a great dish to Hilton. Hilton can't get it to drop, but Brian Leahy just tears the rebound away. And he misses, and here comes Estancia in transition. Brandon Casillas filling the lane on the wing, and that's blocked by Brian Leahy. So the Mustangs get a couple good looks here to start the half. They still can't get the ball to fall in.
Tough break. Chasen makes a very nice pass down on the baseline, and the Mustangs just are having trouble tonight finishing.
Estancia will take it out underneath. Ball temporarily knocked away from Selwyn Mansell, but he recovers. He'll set things up at the point, goes right around Chasen. Selwyn to the rack. Selwyn Mansell with the pretty move.
7 points in the game now for Selwyn.
And there he is, right back to work on defense. No rest for the weary. Galdamez, he's going to take it to the hole and kicks it out to Payne, but there's a foul, a blocking call against a bewildered James Dawkins, and that's 4 against JD here.
Yeah, that's a tough call, Dane. I mean, the player's moving into the lane. Dawkins really isn't doing much of anything, kind of backing up just a bit. Really just trying to keep the defensive pressure on. Really doesn't touch the player at all and gets called for the foul. I don't understand it. I don't think James does either. And so, tough break for James. He's going to have to sit down with 4 fouls now.
Yeah, there's no advantage gained there. The ball was being passed outside. Chasen trying to get around Selwyn. They'll back it out wisely. Mustangs standing around, not much movement without the ball. Payne with the three-point attempt, that's short, and Nelson's there, he gives it off to Mansell, and here come the Eagles. Mansell, and a reach-in foul. So the Eagles look like they want to come out and push the ball on offense and try and get some transition game going.
Yeah, I think Estancia can, if they can build on this lead, I think they can pretty much put away Costa Mesa.
And I know that's something that would make Coach Boyce happy because they've played a lot of close games in the Pacific Coast League despite only having 1 loss. And the Mustangs come away with it. Leahy over to Chasen. Chasen tries to go back to Leahy, and Leahy hustles. And I don't know what the call is. He's calling red. He's calling red, but pointing in the direction of white.
Which way is it? Looks like it's going to be Estancia basketball.
And referee over here having a nice chuckle about it. He knows he goofed up there, but as long as he gets it straight in the end. Casillas going to work against Leahy. And Mansell to the hole. Selwyn Mansell has come out on fire here in the second half. Mustangs will slow it down. Galdamez kicks it over to Hilton. Hilton has it taken away by Casillas. Casillas into the front court. He gives it back to Ryan Simpson, who has it blocked, but Sam Nelson is there for the follow. So once again, the Mustangs make the initial play defensively, but the Eagles are there to follow it.
You can't give a team second and third chances every time down because they'll eventually capitalize.
Especially not this Estancia team. So Galdamez will set things up for the Mustangs, gives it off to Chasen, and Chasen double teamed out front's taken away by Selwyn Mansell, and Selwyn goes the distance, lay it up and in. Selwyn Mansell with his 3rd layup here in the 3rd quarter, and a quick timeout by Costa Mesa.
The lead's 25 now for Estancia. That's 11 points in the ballgame for Selwyn Mansell. The Eagles have come out on fire, as you mentioned here in the second half. They really want to do a number here on Costa Mesa. They want to put this game away right now.
Yeah, I can imagine Coach Boyce had something to say to them because they've really come out. He must have lit a fire at halftime. Selwyn Mansell's got 3 layups. He's just taking it to the rack, either in traffic or in transition, and right here on the steal, he just went by Chasen. He wanted it more, and you could kind of see Chasen wasn't going to put up much of a fight, chasing him down on the defensive end.
I wonder if Matt didn't come up just a little bit hurt, that play down here on the other end, where he tried to put the ball back, push it back over to Leahy, and he ended up sliding on the ground. It looked like he got up and grimaced, holding his back a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on Matt, see if he is okay out there in the basketball court, see if he's moving okay out there the rest of this ball game.
Well, as high as he can get up, and as high as he was up on that play, I sure wouldn't want to fall from that high up. Not that I have to worry about that. So the Mustangs shut out here for the first 2.5 minutes of the third quarter. It's 8-0 here in the third quarter. And a new look for the Mustangs. Galdamez is now bringing the ball up. Maybe they'll try and get the ball to Chasen this way. But Galdamez triple teamed out here. And I think that's what they're thinking, is have Galdamez bring it up and get the ball to Chasen on a wing. But if Galdamez is going to be triple teamed out front, he's not going to even have a chance to get it to Chasen.
As soon as that double team, triple team comes, you got to find the open player. You've got to find that open option because there's going to be 1 or 2 players that are open.
And there's Estancia's in the half-court trap right now, and it's causing troubles for this Mustang team as Chasen's trapped over there in the corner. He gets it out to Leahy. Leahy into the key. Too much on the layup, and Nelson is there again to clean the glass, and he goes to Selwyn, and look for Selwyn to go coast to coast as he goes down. Selwyn Mansell, very quick off the dribble.
Oh, he is so quick, and he's so athletic out there. It's fun to watch a player like that.
And I think Selwyn's having fun right now. He got that ball out here on the wing, and you could tell right when he got it, he was going to the rack again. A reach-in foul called against John Payne. And I think Selwyn was actually losing his footage even before he was fouled as Nelson pulls up for 3. That's short. Chasen hauls in the rebound for the Mustangs. Estancia, man-to-man defense. Tough man-to-man defense. They're overplaying the passing lanes. Chasen into the key, and a wonderful pass by Matt Chasen, but a little too much on it. I think it caught Todd Hilton by surprise.
Yeah, I think it did too. The pass was right there, but I don't think Hilton was expecting it.
He wasn't expecting it, but in Hilton's defense, there was too much on that pass.
A very hard pass from such a short distance.
So Mansell in trouble, gets it off to Casillas. Casillas tries to get it inside, but Hilton knocks it away. Chasen with the pass to Leahy. Leahy's ready for that great pass from Chasen, and Bryant lays it up and in.
And the Mustangs finally break into the scoring column here in the second half.
Almost midway through the quarter, as Nelson gets it knocked away by Chasen. Chasen hustling. Nelson comes up with it, and that's got to be a charge. Yeah, they call Sam Nelson for a charge, and Todd Hilton doing a great job of getting position underneath.
Very good position by Todd Hilton. He stood in there and took the charge.
So Matt Chasen starting to get things going here for Mesa, not scoring, but passing and getting his teammates involved. Unfortunately, one went incomplete. Twando's going to spot up for 3. And there's Hilton right there to follow, and the Mustangs still can't get a bucket.
It's almost as if there's a lid on the hoop right now for Costa Mesa.
Todd Hilton, though, hustling back on defense, coming up with a steal. And it's taken right back by Selwyn Mansell, who has it taken away again by Carlos Galdamez, and it's getting a little crazy out here as the Eagles finally slow things down.
Selwyn's going to slow it down up top here.
Thank goodness. I can't keep up with it.
Starting to look like a football game out there for a second.
And a nice pass, but from Mansell into Simpson. Ryan Simpson not only doing a good job getting himself open, but doing a good job of receiving that pass and going straight up with the shot.
First 2 points of the ball game for Ryan Simpson.
Simpson comes in, averaging almost 9 a game with a high of 16. So Simpson can score. Little confusion here. Gavin Rainey checking into the game for Ryan Simpson. Tell you, it's noisy down here on the court.
It is noisy. The cheerleaders are going at it. The Lady Mustangs versus Lady Eagles just as hard as the basketball players are out here.
And Chasen going to the hole. He gets fouled. Gavin Rainey called for the block. And I believe they're going to call that on the ground. So before Chasen could get the shot off, Mustangs will take it out underneath. 3 minutes left to go in the third. It's 39-14 in favor of Estancia. Pass out front, almost taken away by Mansell. Oh, what do we got here? There's a foul and a pretty fake around the back by Matt Chasen. I tell you, he does some nice things with the basketball.
He does some amazing things out here, things you don't often see at the high school level.
And Matt Chasen's a guy who didn't play with the Mustangs over the summer. He started the school year, decided he wanted to play. He played on the JV team last year, and Coach Eric Allen didn't work with him at all during the summer. School started. The two of them sat down. Matt said he wanted to play, was dedicated to playing, and you know, Eric Allen saw him out on the court. He knew he had to give him a chance.
When you get a player like that into your program, you have to give him every opportunity to get out there. And Matt Chasen making the most of it, averaging 14.8 points per game this year for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and it was a nice addition having him out here, especially after the Mustangs graduated nearly their entire roster from last year. Josh Weeks, Mike Montoya, Donnie Ogo, some names, very familiar names in the Costa Mesa basketball program, as they all played 3 years on varsity. Brian Leahy and John Payne are the only two Mustangs this year that played on the varsity team last year. So following the timeout, the Mustangs will take the ball underneath. Hilton gets it back to Doe. Doe tries a long three-pointer, and he hits it. Bob, that's almost a four-pointer.
That was from way downtown. He was well behind the three-point line when he put that one up.
And they may have drawn that up during the timeout, but I doubt they drew it up for it to be that far out. And there's a pushing foul underneath against Chasen. Chasen mismatched against the much taller Brandon Casillas, and he gave him a little shove in the back, and actually not a bad foul, because Casillas would have just turned on Chasen and probably scored an easy bucket.
Well, Casillas 6'5", Chasen only listed at 5'9", so as you said, an obvious mismatch.
Gavin Rainey taking it into the key, follows his miss, and it's knocked away by Galdamez. And Chasen comes up with it through the legs. Chasen will slow things down and then go to the hole. Nice pick and roll with Brian Leahy. Leahy shot a little too much on it, and Gavin Rainey comes down with it for Estancia. So Estancia not giving the Mustangs many second chances at the basket. What do we got here, Bob?
Not quite sure what the call is here. I didn't see anything happen, but the referee decides to blow his whistle.
It's going to be a pushing foul against Sam Nelson underneath, away from the play. Sam, I guess, trying to create a little space for himself, decided just to shove Twando out of his way. 39-17, 2:12 left. Carlos Galdamez stumbling into the front court. Galdamez is going to the hole. Can't get it to fall, and Sam Nelson just too strong inside.
Costa Mesa really starting to get frustrated here. They've made some nice moves and just cannot get the ball to go in the hole.
And there's a great block by Todd Hilton, getting his big outstretched hands and using that reach he has. Chasen against Taboda. Chasen into Hilton. Todd Hilton running the court nicely. I'm impressed with Todd Hilton, Bob.
Hey, you get the big man out there running, you have to reward him. That's exactly what they did.
I mean, here's a guy whose #1 sport is water polo, and he's doing a good job out here on the basketball court.
Well, he's a great athlete. Obviously, as you mentioned, we see his athleticism in the pool, and it translates very easily here to the basketball court. A good athlete is going to be able to just jump into a new sport like this and succeed.
And he's not just a water polo player. He's a very, very good water polo player. And it runs in the family. Chasen with the steal out front. Chasen will go in, coast to coast, laid up and in. And a smart play by Selwyn there, just letting Chasen go in Estancia was up by 20, no reason to contest that one.
And with a minute 20 to go in the third quarter, Matt Chasen is finally on the scoreboard.
Mansell fouled as he takes it in there.
So for almost 3 quarters, Estancia was able to shut out Matt Chasen.
Yeah, Selwyn Mansell doing the job defensively. Casillas, nice pass inside to Tabota, and that's blocked by the big fella, Todd Hilton, and here comes Chasen again. Chasen can't get it to fall. Carlos Galdamez kicks it out to Twando, who will not shoot the three-pointer against Brandon Casillas. Inside to Scott Dickerson, that shot won't fall, and Sam Nelson comes away with it for Estancia.
Once again, Costa Mesa hustling underneath, getting a good shot at the basket, and the ball just won't go in the hoop. I don't know, it's got to be frustrating right now over there on that Costa Mesa sideline.
Sam Nelson doing a good job working the glass defensively, and before Nelson can get that pass away, they're going to call Ryan Simpson for an illegal screen, and I think he got Matt Chasen pretty good there.
He's moving just a little bit out there on the screen and knocked him down. It's getting a little more physical out there right now.
And Chasen doesn't come with a lot of meat on his bones, so he runs into a hard pick, he feels it.
Right.
39 seconds, clock not running here, so Mesa getting some time, and now the clock's going. Twando, bounce pass inside, almost knocked away. Chasen, no look pass, and it's knocked away. Nice play defensively by Estancia as the ball comes to Sam Nelson, tips it, and the Mesa comes away with it. Things getting a little ragged here. Twando will spot up for the three. That shot no good. Casillas comes down with it, and Casillas will push it up into the front court. Casillas is going to take it himself and lay it up and in. 10 seconds, 8 seconds left. Galdamez going to have to try and fire one off here to beat the clock. The shot's up, no good. Dickerson and Hilton collide, and with 1 second left to go in the quarter, ball's going to come out to Estancia. And
substitution. Randy checks back in for Estancia. Looks like Tabota's going to sit down with 1 second to go here in the quarter.
Tabota not in foul trouble, so I don't really understand that. Here comes the long pass, and you're not going to get that pass in against Todd Hilton, that's for sure. Well, with the score 41-21, the Estancia Eagles on top of Mesa. We're going to step aside. We'll be back with the fourth and final quarter of action in just a moment. Estancia with the first possession of the quarter, and James Dawkins takes it into the key, tries to pass it, and it's taken away by Carlos Galdamez. Galdamez into the front court, bounce pass over to Twando. Doe, nice pass into Dickerson. Doe trying to get room for his three-pointer, and there's a shot right there, and that one will hit nothing, but Todd Hilton hustles for the rebound, and hustling equally hard was Scott Dickerson.
They got a little bit mixed up there. Both players ended up out of bounds, and the ball ended up in Dickerson's hands. Tough break for Costa Mesa.
Both players hustling. Todd Hilton seems to be everywhere for Mesa.
Leading scorers after 3 quarters for Costa Mesa, Brian Leahy was 6, and 15 points for Brandon Casillas. He leads Estancia after 3. 12-9 was the run, and the Mesa actually did a pretty good job getting back into it there in the third quarter, cutting into that, because Estancia was pretty much all Estancia the first half of the third quarter.
Yeah, Mesa came on strong at the end, and to be honest with you, Bob, I missed what the call was here. There's a technical, and I'm baffled.
Yeah, I didn't see the call either. There was a whistle as the ball was being inbounded, and you don't want to speculate on what could have happened, but nonetheless a technical foul, and Twando at the free throw line.
And Twan buries both of them. Obvious why he was at the free throw line, and looking around at the players, the Estancia players seemed a little confused as to what happened, so something probably away from the ball, maybe something said. Like you said, don't really want to speculate on what happened. We do know there was a technical, and Twando buried them both, and now Galdamez throws it away as Sam Nelson comes away with it. Nelson to Casillas, back to Sam Nelson, and Nelson goes right to the hole, and a great give-and-go play there by the big man of Estancia. And Estancia right back in there trapping defense. Full court pressure. Chasen trying to get something going. He kicks it over to Doe. Doe over to Galdamez. Chasen working against Mansell. He goes over to Hilton. Hilton's not going to shoot from there. Into Chasen. Chasen with the short shot, and he knocks it down. And it's now 43 to 25 in favor of Estancia. Matt Chasen with his second bucket of the ball game. Casillas working against Dickerson. And Mansell will reset it for Estancia, and there's a reach-in foul by Tuan Doe. Brandon Casillas is a tough matchup for the defense because at 6'4", 6'5", he can come out and handle the ball, and he's comfortable on the outside.
Absolutely. You put him in a guard position, I don't think there's another guard that can match up with him.
And there's Brandon Casillas with a pretty pass into Sam Nelson. I tell you, Bob, these two guys work well together, and they move without the ball, and the other knows where the other one's going to be.
Right after Brandon made that pass, he came right over here in front of our table and said, oh yeah, he loved it.
Yeah, Brandon gets excited, and he's very vocal on the court. And I got to tell you, there's no excuse for that to happen on an inbounds play, that a team should get a layup that easy. And Sam Nelson calmly cans the free throw. So Nelson slowly chipping away. I believe that's
11 now.
It's 11
for
now.
Sam.
So Sam, it's a quiet 11 for Sam.
Yeah, it has been.
And despite the 21-point lead, Estancia still pressing on defense. Chasen beats it himself. He gets around Mansell and lay it up and in. So Matt Chasen finally getting a little room here, Bob.
I think he's starting to get comfortable, although it's probably too little too late for Costa Mesa here.
Yeah, with 6 minutes to go in the ball game and a 19-point deficit, the Mustangs look to be just playing this one out. And that one goes off of Nelson's feet. Still pressing is Estancia. I'm a little surprised by that. Chasen in the corner, trapped by Nelson and Mansell, and it's Dickerson on the floor, and then it's almost taken away by Brandon Casillas. And it finally goes out of bounds, but there's going to be a foul, a pushing foul against Brandon Casillas.
This is the type of trapping defense, though, that if Estancia can employ throughout the basketball game, is really going to be to their advantage later on come playoff time in the end of this league schedule when they get into the playoffs against some better teams, because they're going to need to have that in their to their advantage. Estancia is still showing that they have a lot of gas in the tank here at the end of the ball game.
And you're exactly right, and I know that's why Coach Boyce has them still running the presses. It's more a practice in a live situation here.
Right.
I think he feels pretty comfortable with the game, but it's a good chance to work against another team live action. So Chasen buries both the free throws in the bonus.
8 points now for Matt Chasen.
James Dawkins bringing it into the front court. Over to Mansell, who finds Nelson. Nelson working against Galdamez. To Boda. Back to Mansell. Mansell looks inside, thinks better of it, gets it over to Ryan Simpson, and Ryan Simpson with the nice 17-foot jump shot. Ryan Simpson, another guy, another big guy, but he can step out and knock down the 15, 18-foot jumper.
All these guys can.
And Chasen leaves it for Leahy, and Leahy uses the glass. Brian.
Every one of these Estancia players is capable of hitting that outside jumper.
And that's what makes them such a tough matchup.
Oh, without a doubt.
And there's a reach-in foul against Chasen.
Looked like a lot of basketball there.
Yeah, JD was shaking his head to the referee like, yeah, good call. I don't know about that though, James. Both teams now in the bonus, so Dawkins will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. This is James's first trip to the free throw line.
That's 4 fouls now on Matt Chasen.
Dawkins. Nothing but net on the first one as Todd Hilton checks in for Scott Dickerson. And I know you said it earlier, Bob, but James Dawkins is quite an athlete.
Oh, without a doubt. I saw him earlier in a game this year against Laguna Hills. and he was just in warm-ups. I mean, he was just jumping out of the building, going up, grabbing rebounds, and going up, making layups. And for a guy who's probably about he's listed at 5'11", and I don't know if he's quite 5'11", but either way, he gets higher than just about anybody else on this basketball court. That includes a lot of them trees that are 6'4", 6'5".
And he's a great kid. He's a pleasure to be around and talk to, whether it's during the football season or the basketball season. As Chasen gets fouled, and he'll go back to the line. So James Dawkins made a name for himself first on the football field, but before his playing days are over at Estancia, he'll make a name for himself on the hardwood.
Absolutely.
Chasen knocks down the first free throws, and we're seeing a free throw clinic by both teams here in the fourth quarter. The two teams combined are 7 for 7 unofficially. Chasen buries that one. So Matt Chasen, Bob, with 8 points here in the fourth quarter. And with 4:40 left to go, it's a 17-point Estancia lead. I would think Estancia will empty the bench here soon as Selwyn Mansell with the pretty reverse spin move, and Gavin Rainey is there. He can't get it to fall, and Brian Leahy working hard comes down with the rebound. Mustangs taking their time into the front court. Leahy along the wing. Gets it over to Chasen. Chasen will try and create. Chasen shot up, no good. Battle underneath, Hilton comes down with it, and there's James Dawkins jumping out of the gym with the rebound. And Brian Leahy comes away with the steal. Great hustle job by Leahy. Pass somehow gets to Brian Weir underneath the basket, and Weir lays it up and in. 15-point lead now for Estancia.
And Costa Mesa, give them all the credit in the world. They have not quit at all in this basketball game.
And there's a foul, and you're right, Bob. They could have very easily rolled over and played some basic jungle ball, street ball, tried to pad their averages, but they're playing hard, and you know, Matt Chasen still looking to dish and not just look for his own shot. And checking into the game now is Mark Bonacisi for Estancia, and talking with Coach Boyce before the game, he had said that Bonacisi and Rahimi hadn't got many minutes in league because the games have been so close. So I know he's going to want to get Rahimi into the game here soon. He got Bonacisi in, and the Estancia crowd cheering when Bonacisi came in. He's a crowd favorite.
And you know, once Mark got into the ballgame here, he's going to start launching up those three-pointers. He's a three-point specialist out there, so he's going to be looking for his shot. He's going to take advantage of the playing time here.
Well, he wears number 3 on his back.
That could be a sign of things to come.
Mansell continues the hot free throw shooting by both teams. Pass in the front court to Leahy. Leahy kicks it back to Doe for the three-pointer, and Juan Doe drains it. Brian Leahy, a nice pass kicking it out for the three-pointer, even though he may have had a shot inside. Sam Nelson working against the smaller Chasen, and a great pass into Evan Taboda. Evan Taboda going to the basket without the ball. Sam Nelson found him. Sam showing some of his versatility there.
That's Estancia's bread and butter play right there. They love that back door down on the baseline.
Yeah, Estancia moves well as a team without the basketball. They play a very good team offense. And a traveling call against Chasen. Ryan Simpson checks in to the game. And here comes Sam Rahimi.
So he accomplishes his goal, does Rich Boyce. He empties out the rest of his bench. He's going to get some playing time for some deserving players out there.
Yeah, with only 9 guys on the team, you know, these guys need to get some minutes because you never know what's going to happen come playoff time, foul troubles, injuries.
Absolutely. These players may have to make a big contribution down the stretch.
Simpson being hounded inside. He's fouled. No, 3-second call. So the Costa Mesa Mustangs still working hard on defense. Chasen taking his time despite the 16-point deficit here. And he's going to try and beat Mansell. Mansell gets a hand on it. Mansell doing a nice job of playing defense with his feet, and Brian Weir into the key with the nice 4-foot jumper. So Brian Weir has made the most out of his few shots.
He's got 7 points.
And Sam Nelson doing it by himself. Sam Nelson's a pure basketball player.
He's got 13 now in the ballgame, and you knew he'd get his points eventually.
Todd Hilton going to work inside, and Ryan Simpson pulls down the rebound. So with 2 minutes left, Estancia still not giving Mesa many second opportunities, and Selwyn Mansell throws it away. And despite the 16-point deficit, Coach Boyce is not happy with the turnover.
No, not at all.
Look at him over there.
Even though he's got a comfortable lead in this basketball game, he still wants to see his players do everything just right. You don't want to see anything, turnovers, anything like that at any point in a ball game.
Great pass by Chasen into Hilton. And it's finally knocked away to Estancia, and getting back to Boyce. He never stops coaching.
No, never. And neither has Eric Allen. Give both these coaches a lot of credit.
And Eric Allen now gets into the ball game. Number 20, a junior, Travis Rice, to the approval of the home crowd. And Rice actually had a big game for Mesa recently. I think he scored in double figures just a couple games ago, so he can't score when given the opportunity. Brian Weir thought about putting up a three and forces a pass inside, and Selwyn Mansell's going to get called for the foul. Both coaches working the sideline still. James Dawkins will check back in, probably for Selwyn Mansell. And in fact, he does get Selwyn Mansell. And if we had a title sponsor, Bob, I think the title sponsor might be awarding something in the name of Selwyn Mansell as player of the game for the job he did defensively against Matt Chasen, but also offensively, he scored 6 buckets in the third quarter, or 3 buckets, 6 points, and I believe he's got 14 on the game. And there's a backcourt violation there against Mark Bonacisi. He throws his arms up as if to say, what, me?
And Rich Boy's getting a kick out of it as well over there on the Estancia bench.
Wow, I'm glad you said that, because I looked over and I think that's one of the few times I've actually seen Rich smile during a ball game. And with 1:20 left to go in a 15-point ball game, he's got a lot to smile about as Chasen throws up the air ball, but Brian Weir hustles. He puts up a three. Chasen outjumps everybody for it, and Chasen's finger roll doesn't go. And finally, Sam Rahimi hauls it in for Estancia. Casillas, with a minute to go in the game, gets it off to Rahimi, who has it knocked away by Leahy, and Brian Leahy hustling. You know, Brian Leahy, that epitomizes his career right there.
You're right. He will not give up in this basketball game. Don't tell him how big the lead is, because he doesn't know the lead right now.
Estancia somehow comes away with it before it's taken away by Travis Rice, who gets it to Twan Doe, down to Matt Chasen. Chasen, something around his back, and now it's knocked away. And earlier I said that James Dawkins is always a pleasure to be around. Brian Leahy fits that same mold. He's a great kid. I've really enjoyed being around him for the last 3 seasons. 3-point attempt, Matt Chasen, that short. Casillas with the rebound, and Leahy knocks another one away as Travis Rice gets dirty. Somehow Mesa comes away with it, and there's Brian Leahy on the scoring end. 13-point game with 23 seconds. And Coach Allen, you're right, Bob. He's still working it over there.
You know, this hasn't been the most successful season as far as wins for the Costa Mesa Mustangs, but good things will happen to teams that hustle as much as this Costa Mesa team does. They've been in a lot of their league games so far. They've just lost a couple by 2 points, 1 point. I know that's been very frustrating to the team and to head coach Eric Allen this season. This could be a much different season had a couple of points gone the other way for Costa Mesa. But as I mentioned, good things happen to teams that hustle, and this Costa Mesa team, give them all the credit in the world. They never stopped hustling in this basketball game. They never gave up when they definitely could have. The lead reaching 25, 27, almost 30 points at times here in this basketball game.
And talking to him before the game, you know, I said, Coach, what do you think? And he said, well, we're going to go out there and play hard, and, you know, maybe we can steal one. And I said, well, you know, you had the opportunity last time you played them, so you know you can play with them. And when he said, maybe we can steal one, I told him, you guys are due, because following the Estancia loss by 3 points, they then lost in double overtime to University, 92-90, and then they lost a 1-point game to Laguna Hills. So you're right, they haven't won in league, but boy, a bucket here, a bucket there, and they could easily have 3 victories.
Right. They'd be right in the thick of the playoff race in the Pacific Coast League.
But, you know, it's a new era of Mustang basketball here at Costa Mesa, and I think the Mustangs have a bright, promising future with Eric Allen at the helm.
I agree. I think good things are in store for this basketball program. As you mentioned, that freshman program down there, apparently a lot of good players coming up with Coach Mo Rescala down there, so some good things to come for Costa Mesa in the future.
Todd Hilton will be back next year, as will John Payne. Rovan Sue, a sophomore, has some varsity experience. They'll lose their top 2 point scorers in Chasen and Leahy, but they will get some talent back as James Dawkins makes the second of the 2 free throws. And with 20 seconds, Chasen will take it to the hole. Nice move there by Matt Chasen. 10 seconds. Bonacisi. And Bonacici's going to get to go to the free throw line here as a frustrated Matt Chasen gives Bonacici a shove there, and Coach Allen reaches out and says, hey, calm down.
I think Matt's fouled out of this basketball game. I'm not quite sure. Unofficially, we had him with 4 fouls before that.
And we know how unofficial our stats are
right.
over here.
Well, I guess they're going to give the foul to Weir instead. The foul's not going to go to Chasen, it's going to go to Weir.
So Bonacici goes to the line. Chance to crack the scorer's book here. That one's off a little bit. Evan Taboda checking into the game for Brandon Casillas, and that's just to get Casillas out. Let the fans give Casillas a round of applause, the senior, in his last game against Mesa. Bonacisi misses the second. Struggle for the ball. It's pulled down by Brian Leahy. Leahy gets it off to Weir. Weir to beat the buzzer. No. So the final score, 57-45. Estancia in command of this one from the start to finish, Bob.
It really all came apart for Costa Mesa in the second quarter. They only scored 5 points in that second quarter. Estancia really started to put the ball game away there. Give Costa Mesa a lot of credit. They never gave up, as we mentioned. They fought hard in the second half to make it the final score respectable. But Estancia definitely showed their class here in this basketball game. They showed that they are the top team in the Pacific Coast League, putting away a very game Costa Mesa team down the stretch.
So it's Estancia over Costa Mesa. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with some post-game interviews and some final thoughts. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's time we said enough is enough. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life, not one more grieving family, not one more.
Back here at courtside, Estancia comes away with a big victory tonight over Costa Mesa. Coach, you got to be happy with your team's performance. They really put the game away in the second quarter.
Yeah, I thought we came out a little slow again. I think maybe it was a residue of the last game we played. But I think once our defensive pressure got up, we started playing like the Eagle team I've seen before.
You never really let Matt Chasen get into his game. Selwyn Mansell did a whale of a job really shutting him down here tonight.
Yeah, Selwyn's our stopper, and you know, he held Matt to 9 points last game, and he did a great job. Matt didn't score in the first half, and he got on a roll in the second half like good players do, but overall, Selwyn did a hell of a job.
Your leading scorer, Sam Nelson, really was slow getting off in the beginning, but other players came around and picked it up. I guess that's a testament to this team. A player like Brandon Casillas comes in and has a big game tonight.
Yeah, that was what makes us tough to defend at times. When we're firing all cylinders, we have about 4 or 5 different guys who can score it at any particular time. So if Sam's not going or Selwyn's not going very well, we have other guys who can step in and do the job.
The league race is really tightened up. Is this kind of a relief now to get this one out of the way and look towards the last couple of games of the PCL schedule?
That's a huge relief. You know, I was a little concerned coming into this game how tough they played us at Estancia. And, you know, once again, they showed why. They came back in that fourth quarter and played well. But, yeah, it's a huge relief to get this one over. And, you know, I'm looking forward to going to Lisa on Friday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
We'll send it over now to Dane. He's got the player of the game, Selwyn Mansell.
Thanks a lot, Bob. I am, in fact, with Selwyn Mansell. Selwyn, 13 points, but more importantly, you shut down Matt Chasen.
Well, we worked on practice all week, just going at him one-on-one, me just one-on-one with the ball, and my teammates gave me great help. They were all around me. They didn't let him, whenever he tried to go by me, they gave him pressure, so he'd back off, and I just beat him up, and it was my teammates, basically. It was my teammates. I give credit to them.
I don't know if you know this, but Chasen didn't score until there was like a minute or two left in the third quarter. He got his first bucket, and then in the fourth, he got some points when the game was out of reach. But, you know, an excellent job defensively. And so obviously that was something you guys talked about coming into the game.
Yeah, we just all week during practice we were going one-on-one, trying to see who can beat your man off the dribble, and I was ready for it. As my teammates helped me, and it was a good game, you know.
And then offensively, you got 3 quick buckets going to the hole. Was that something that was right after halftime? Was that something you guys talked about at halftime, was for you to try and take the ball to the hole?
Yeah, I just, you know, I wanted to get my teammates open, or, you know, get some points, in there, and I don't know, just I wasn't getting, you know, into the flow of the game. I need to get into the flow of the game, and so we can, you know, break it open. That's it, really. I just wanted to get to the basket, create some trouble for them.
Well, a great game, both offensively and defensively. Congratulations on the victory. Let's go ahead and throw it over to Bob, who's standing by with Coach Eric Allen from Costa Mesa. Bob?
And we're back here with a obviously dejected head coach Eric Allen from Costa Mesa High School. Coach, same result as the last game, a loss, but last time a much closer score. What was really the difference between the last game and this one?
They made a big run on us in the end of the second quarter. I'm not sure on the stats on it, but it had to have been close to 17, 18, 19 points to nothing. I mean, you know, 17-0 run, and we got ourselves into a hole, and we had to fight our way out of it. Proud of the way they fought. I mean, we played hard till the end. At least made it fairly respectable at the end there. I think without that run, we played them pretty even.
Right. What kind of positives can you take out of this game?
The fact that we did play them even for the amount of time that we did. You know, it's tough to play a team twice. You guys, we know each other's stuff. You know, we scout each other, and it basically comes down to the guys that make the plays. And they made the plays tonight, and they made a big run. Credit to them for making that run. They're a good team. Wish them all the best with the rest of the way. So.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck down the rest of the way.
Thanks.
We'll throw it back now over to Dane. He's got another one of the top players from Estancia. We'll throw it over to you now, Dane.
Thanks, Bob. I am, in fact, with not only one of the top players from the game, but obviously a very tall player, Brandon Casillas, the game's leading scorer. You had 13 of your game-high 15 in the first half. You came out in the first quarter and actually outscored Mesa by yourself. What was the key for you getting started early?
We just came out fired up since last game. Came out slow. Coach told us to come out fired up. That's what we did in warm-ups and through in the first quarter. Came fired up.
Now, we talked a little bit in the pregame about the fact that on paper you guys should blow Mesa out every time. It was a close game earlier this year, and then last year was a close game. Was that on your guys' mind that you know that they can come out and they always play tough against you guys?
Every year they play us tough since I've been here. And we know we have to just play tough and good things will happen for us.
So you get to graduate without losing to them, so that's got to feel good.
Yeah. Well, 20-some years we haven't lost to them, so everyone gets to graduate almost.
So now also a big victory for you guys with 3 teams, only a game behind you in the Pacific Coast League. What do you see coming up in the rest of the league season and then in the playoffs as some of your teammates here having some fun with you?
We win Friday. We're in the driver's coast. We're like, Mark. Come
on in here, Mark. Mark, man right here. Mark asked me if we were going to interview him, and I said if he would have made his free throws, we would have got him in, but he's in now. So good. Okay, go ahead with how you guys think you'll finish out the season.
If we win on Friday at Aliso, which should be a hard game, we should come in first place, we feel. No one else should beat us. Then in the playoffs, all depends on us, depending on how hard we play and work and practice. We can go as far as we want to go.
Well, good luck the rest of the way. You played a great game. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and take a timeout, and then Bob and I will be together with some post-game thoughts. We'll be back in just a moment.
Billy wants to work on airplanes when he grows up. Maybe one that you'll fly in. Now, would you like this free booklet of simple ways you can help improve his education? Call 1-800-96-PROMISE.
And welcome back, Dane Bohr, along with my partner Bob Gibson, to wrap things up here at Costa Mesa High School. And we better do this in a hurry because they're trying to turn the lights out on us here. Bob, final thoughts on the game.
Well, an obvious important game for Estancia. They came out, they were very impressive tonight. I think that goes a long ways in establishing them as the top team, as we mentioned, in the Pacific Coast League. For Costa Mesa, another tough loss for them. I think they're just looking to get a league win somewhere down the line this season. I think that'll be a big accomplishment for Costa Mesa.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I come away impressed with the way Mesa didn't give up, but even more impressed with the way Estancia played, in control of this game. From start to finish, it was their game the whole night.
Oh, definitely it was their game. And as we mentioned, Sam Nelson got off a little slow in the beginning, but a player like Brandon Casillas came on and had a big game for Estancia. So you never know, night in, night out, who's going to have the big game for Estancia. But I guess that's what it's all about for the Estancia Eagles. They're always known for having 4, 5, 6 great players on their team in any given year. And once again, I think they're primed to make a big playoff run once again here in 1997.
Yeah, so too many weapons on the Estancia side tonight. It's Estancia over Mesa. For Bob, I'm Dane. Thanks for watching.